comments. Yeah.
Right, right. No, it is a question. My question was actually going to be very similar to what Theodore said, and then Lauren built upon that. So it was going to be on the sense of essentialism that I somehow perceived. So now I will make a very specific case out of it and combine it with another question. So as far as Kant is concerned, I think that his philosophy has been appropriated in parts by different cultures. So the traditionalist view also take the part of Kant that rejects and that criticizes the pure reason. And then there are these rationalist views which take the part of the Kant which denies the intelligibility, not the present, but the intelligibility of transcendent knowledge. Now you alluded to also intuition, the knowledge of heart, as you probably you were referring to it. It was greatly developed by Bergson and John Locke and many different personalities in the West, and then Seifert also gave some very good examples. So my question is, how do you see the tendency of associating things like modernism and traditionalism to geographies rather than to the paradigm shifts like, say, industrialization or the scientific exclusion of metaphysics for its advancement that happened? And do you not think that it causes more differences rather than perceiving the problem in its actual essence, as it happens to affect us vertically, all nations, some before the others? And I'd like to also combine that question with your view of the particular Islamic view of metaphysics and epistemology. And you said that it's very hard for rationalists, I won't use the term Western, but for a rationalist to understand that. Do you think that in the traditional cultures, you gave examples of like women's rights and their living styles, do you think that even in the traditional cultures today, that metaphysics and epistemology has manifested itself or has applied itself adequately to the grassroots, so that people can actually live by it? And is it a reality in that sense?
I think there were many questions, so you probably have to answer it. I think I understand
it's very good. Because he has raised a very basic question. The question is, the heavens, the relationship with the earth. The criterion is the common man. And this is the reason that under the influence of modernism, why this religion, militism has started. Because they have become oblivious of the religious tradition. There is no tradition in the world, either Hindu, Buddhist, Christian, all those traditions. And I talk of all the great metaphysical and traditions of the world, which is called traditional world. They speak their own language, which is the native language. Because the spiritual dimension is always in the language of the people. So they are more nearer the people. I tell you of Islamic tradition. Now the time is such that even we cannot have a dialogue with the Muslims. But there in this world, when a Sufi is talking, Hindus sit with him, atheists sit with him, Christians sit with him, Buddhists sit with him. Because he is talking of transcendence, he is talking of love. He is not trying to impose himself. So I think that when I talk of a traditional society, I am a civil servant also. I have visited thousands and thousands of villages in my part of the world. And I tell you that the people whom we say illiterate, I call them unlettered. They are holding the primordial tradition of wisdom with them. Their society is completely intact. If you come with me to any village life in our part of the world or in many traditions, I have been to Nepal, I have been to Sri Lanka, I have been to many countries of the world. I tell you, this village life, by virtue of their culture, is intact. But it may not remain intact if this force of modernism, which is depriving them of their languages, which is depriving them of their folklore, which is depriving them of their oral tradition, if it does not stop, I tell you, the traditional world is no threat to humanity or to the modern West. But a semi-traditional world, it will be a great threat to humanity and to the modern West.